Hello everyone, welcome back to Sounds of Our Love. Let's go ahead and continue. Swinging it open, the door to my room creaks as I enter. My eyes shift towards my desk and I reach out for my phone. Clutching the phone in my hand, I redial the last number that called and Carrie's number appears on the screen. It doesn't take long for her to pick up. I wonder if she was waiting for me. It was a pretty quick answer.
Hello?
Hey Carrie, where were we?
We weren't really talking about anything.
That's right. We weren't really talking about anything in particular before. How about we talk for a bit then?
About what?
Carrie's stutter flares up again. It's kind of cute, but I wouldn't really tell her that. What am I saying? What about hobbies?
Hobbies?
Yeah, I know you like literature. Is there anything else you like? Carrie pauses for a brief moment, and the sound of her breathing flows out the speaker beside my ear.
I like the harp.
The harp? You mean the instrument?
Yes, I can play it.
So she can play the harp. That reminds me. So it's like the school's logo then.
The harp is a classical Celtic instrument.
That must be it. I'm sure Wales is a Celtic country.
What about yours?
My what?
Your hobbies.
She wants to know my hobbies? Well, I did ask her the question after all. The problem is, though, that I can't really think of anything that I would consider a hobby. There's nothing notable.
Oh. Would you like to borrow one of my books?
Sharing a hobby with her wouldn't be a bad thing. I guess I could give it a go. Sure, you can lend me one that you like.
Okay. Will you meet me at lunch? So I can give it to you.
Yeah, that's fine. Thinking back on what my father had said before, I can definitely say that I like Carrie, though in a way it's hard to tell. It's not unreasonable to say that there's a possibility. She is kind of sweet after all, though I don't know. I shouldn't really think about it now.
Thank you. I promise you'll enjoy reading it.
I imagine Carrie pulling a cute smile to match the enthusiasm she put into that statement. She must really have a passion for reading, beyond wanting to study literature. I'm looking forward to it. I hear a voice that isn't Carrie's coming from the end of the line. I guess someone must be calling up to her.
Sorry. My father's calling me for dinner.
Don't worry, I left for dinner earlier. You go and have yours. I'll see you at school tomorrow.
Okay. I'll see you then. Goodbye.
Bye. The line falls silent as Carrie hangs up. I place the phone back down on my desk once again. For the first time this past fortnight, I'm actually looking forward to going to school. Carrie and I have seemed to have developed quite a good friendship within just the course of a day. It's quite surprising, really. As I return to the seat by my desk, I peer at the sprawl of papers I had left lying before me. Alright, I was doing homework. There's nothing else I can think of doing. So I reach up to the shelf where I had left my workbook and continue on with the task I was doing. If I get it out of the way now, maybe I'll have more time later in the week to speak with Carrie again. A breeze rustles my coat as I approach the school gates. In contrast with yesterday, I'm actually here at the right time. The sounds and sights of other students fill my mind as I move swiftly to get to homeroom. The mornings this time of year are very cold, but I expected it to be a lot warmer this far south. Dispelling the idle thoughts in my head, one thing sure is missing: the presence of Carrie. I kinda walked to school with her yesterday, so I thought I'd see her here again today. Though I guess for her it wasn't a mistake that she came so early. She told me to meet her at lunch so she could give me a book, didn't she? That sure is something to look forward to. My timetabled lessons don't look very promising, so give me something to think about until then. That full classroom is split between those enthralled to begin lessons and the apathetic slackers who just want to get it over with. I sit at my desk and join the latter group. Dust shimmers as sunlight enters through the windows. One by one, more students enter the class as the clock on the wall creeps towards 8 o'clock. My mind wanders onto the thought of Carrie once more. Where am I supposed to find her when the lunch bell rings? The most reasonable place would be the cafeteria. That's where I found her yesterday. Or maybe not. But that should be comfortable giving me a present in front of a crowd of people, even if it is just a book. I leaned back against the chair, as I typically would, slowly watch the clock spin and spin as lessons go by, waiting for the lunch bell to arrive. Stretching my arms, I look up at the clock to check if the sound I just heard wasn't a hallucination. I don't have schizophrenia as far as I'm aware. People are definitely getting up and leaving the classroom, likely heading towards the cafeteria. Since some do stay behind, I guess various Japanese high school customs still stick, even in a foreign school. The curriculum may be different, but the attitude of the students certainly isn't. Standing up, I trailed behind everyone else to leave the room. Looks like I'm the last person to leave. The corridor isn't the only thing that greets me as I step outside.
Here you go. I promised to give it to you.
Before me stands Carrie, basking in the sunlight. My book is held out in her hands and practically shoved into my chest. Her face is red, apt for the situation. I'm pretty sure mine is too. The blossom of embarrassment on her cheeks is a cute sight. She seems to be reluctant to make eye contact though. It's only better for me, as I get to look at the glint of my own reflection in her amber eyes. Thanks. The book itself looks fairly worn. Judging by the condition of the pages, she must have read this quite a few times. I am only borrowing it, so she probably wants to read it again in the future.
You're welcome. It's one of my favorites, so I hope you enjoy it.
She lightly exclaims that fact, and I take the book from her. The title is embossed on cover, as opposed to a fancy design or a sleeve. It must be a fairly old print. Despite its blemishes, she seems to have taken quite good care of it. Once again, I look at Carrie's cute profile. She still holds a blush, which suits her all too well, an adorable trait of hers. Her breath is still ragged with nervousness. I watch her chest move inwards and out as she regains control of her breathing, though I quickly look away after I realize how perverse the action is. How about we go get some lunch then? We can't keep standing around here. I slip the book into my bag carefully and invite Carrie to join me for lunch.
Sure. I'd love to.
Carrie slightly jitters as we both head down the corridor towards the cafeteria, as I spend my second lunch break of the week with her. No doubt I can get used to this, though I feel as if I already am. Noise resonates through the walls of my room as I hear my sister blasting some foreign pop music, all while speaking to her friend on the phone. I would go in there and tell her to quiet down, but I'm too lazy to do so. After enjoying a nice lunch break with Carrie, despite neither of us really saying anything, the remaining classes were rather dull and uninteresting. The only thing that really kept me going was a thought of Carrie, as dodgy as that sounds. I look to the right. Beside me sits the book Carrie had given me earlier. Reading it now would give me something to do, but I don't think I could make it that far into it. It's quite late, and I still have some work left to do, though I'm reminded of Carrie's flustered face as she presented it to me. It really meant a lot to her. Giving it a read couldn't hurt, could it? Read the book. The book is fairly thin, though it'll take me until tomorrow night at the earliest to finish it. That's if I can read it fast enough. But if Carrie asked me about it tomorrow, at least I'll have something to talk to her about. Grasping the book, I open the cover and begin reading it page by page. The theme of it is quite apparent, even before the end of the first chapter. It's a love story. The book suits Carrie pretty well. It would have been weird if the book was a sci-fi novel or something absurd like a guide on dog grooming. Does she even have a dog? I wouldn't know. Soon enough, I find myself at the end of the second chapter. So far it's been fairly interesting, definitely something different than what I was expecting from a love story. I should probably make a few mental notes of what I've read so far, just to give us something to talk about. She doesn't really converse that much. I want to talk with her more. I set the book down beside me, where I once sat. My body twists as I slip out of the space between the chair and my desk. For once, I should probably get to dinner early. The path to school has now become quite familiar, now that I've had 2 weeks to remember it. A mild gust blows leaves across along the pavement, and I watch them get tousled around without direction. Just as I stand across the street, I feel a dainty tap on my shoulder. Looking to my side, the person I've been wanting to see the most recently stands before my eyes, a sight to behold.
Good morning.
Carrie greets me, her lips curling up slightly into a delicate smile. Good morning, Carrie. As the light turns green, we both walk hard. Let me try that again. As the light turns green, we both walk harmoniously across. It's not really a surprise for me to meet Carrie here. I'm pretty sure she did share part of the walk to school with me. This is where I first met her after all. So, how are you today, Carrie? I throw the question out to try and make conversation. I enjoy being with her, but getting her to speak up more would make the experience a lot better.
I'm good. Thank you. What about you?
Good as well. Carrie smiles at my answer. I guess knowing that your friends are in a good spirit is a happy thought. As I take occasional glances to my side, I seem to notice Carrie shyly looking my direction from time to time as well. She turns her desk whenever I spot her. Does she want to ask me something? Anything on your mind? It seems that I caught her off guard.
I wanted to know. Can I walk to school with you more often?
She wants to walk to school with me? That question seems pretty bold for her, but I oblige. Sure thing. Carrie smiles and nods her head cheerfully. I can't deny wanting to walk to school with her as well. I look at my watch to check the time. It's almost 8:15. Shall we meet where we met today then? At 7:35?
That's good with me.
So it's settled then. From today onwards I'll be meeting and walking with a girl on the way to school. It's not something I expected to happen, but I can't complain. In fact, I'm happy. Pass through the school gates and towards the main building, both of us stopping to part ways. Now I'll see you later then, Carrie. Lunch, right?
Sure. Lunch it is.
I head down the path towards my class. My plans for the day pretty much settled. The lunch bell stops ringing pat just as I make my way out of the classroom. Our teacher let us out early. I'm pretty sure she's as enthusiastic about the lessons as we are. I move through the corridor and surprisingly find someone waiting for me.
Hello.
Hey, Carrie. Shall we get going to the cafeteria then?
Can we stop by the library first? I need to return a book.
She wants to go to the library? I'm not against it. I wasn't really that hungry anyway. Yeah, sure. Speaking of books, I started reading that book you gave me. I've really been liking it so far.
That's good.
Carrie smiles and turns her head in my direction.
Would you like to go to the library with me?
She sounds anxious, even more so than normal. I thought we were already going to the library.
Not this one. The one in the city.
She wants to go to the city with me? Sure. I can't keep myself from stuttering. Moments ago, Carrie had just invited me out to the city. It's quite a direct thing to be asking someone she's only been friends with for mere days. Carrie holds a deep blush on her cheeks, and I too can't keep myself from getting a bit tense.
Thank you.
We walk down the corridor in unison, only our footsteps audible as we keep a state of silence between us. Stepping through the door of my house, I'm greeted by a sense of warmth, both in the physical and metaphorical sense. The heater is turned up pretty high, but my mother had seen me entering and greets me. How is school, Far? I'm gonna replace the words with my name, so it's a little bit more smooth. It was good, I guess. It wasn't just good. I know for a fact it was good. I practically bagged the date with Carrie in a sense, though I don't think she sees it that way. I've only known her for 2 days, so there's no point in getting giddy about it. That's great to hear. My mother wanders off and continues up the stairs to carry on with whatever it is she was doing. I take out my shoes and stroll into the lounge of the slum. One thing about school is that it sure is pretty tiring. Ahead of me sits my father lying back in his chair, reading a book. He lifts his head and peers towards me, giving me a prodigious grin. "Hello, my boy. Seems like you've had a pleasant day at school, am I right? That smile on your face tells me everything, you know. No doubt you spotted my upbeat aura. It's not as if I was trying to hide it. You could say I had a nice day." "Tell me then, son. I need to know." He sets his book down on the floor beside him and insists for it to engage himself in our conversation. "Ah, it's nothing. I'm just going somewhere with a friend on the weekend." I say the weekend, but Carrie never gave me a day as to when she wanted to go. I'll just have to ask her. "A friend. Sort of friend. Is it a girl?" Straight on to the girls as always. Can't say that I've never considered the topic before. Carrie, of course, is a girl. A rather nice one, too. Though I don't know whether to tell my father would be the most ingenious of ideas. I just keep asking questions until he gets to see her. That's what I would expect him to do anyway. "Oh, it's, a girl." "A girl? Well, congratulations, my boy. I was waiting for the day you would start dating girls." "It's not a date, it's just a day out." "I'm not really sure what it is. She told me that she wants me to go to the library with her, but surely she must be planning something more than that." "It still counts, boy. I hope you make the most of it." Its words only partially make it into my head. It's always been like this. Take another look at him and realize he's reading a book. He is a publisher after all, so I guess it's his job to check over the things presented to him. The print on the book's cover looks familiar. I notice the author's name and realize what the connection is. That's the same author as... The same as what, boy? The book Carrie gave to me. Going by the condition of the book she gave me, she must really like his work. That girl I'm meeting with on the weekend, she, really likes the author's work. I don't really know the best way to put it. I don't think telling my father will really achieve anything. I should have kept it to myself. "Nah, why didn't you tell me, son? I'm good friends with this guy. He always makes me read his books before I sell them. I don't even like romance." Carrie does, though. Maybe getting her a copy might be a good idea. She gave me a gift after all, even if I only lent it. I may as well return the favor. Would it be okay if I lent a copy? "Lend one? Just take the whole pile. You gave me way too many copies of the damn thing." Instead, I only take one from the top of the pile. My father always has a way to make things absurd. "Good thinking, boy. I'm sure she'll like that. It's always best to get on their good side." For once, I agree with him. Giving her a gift wouldn't be a bad idea, no matter the reason behind it. "Alright. Thanks, Dad." "Don't thank me. Thank the guy who thinks it's funny to deliver me a ton of books every 2 months. With that, I leave the room and head towards the stairs. Reflecting on what just happened, it was a pretty lucky thing to be able to get this book for Carrie. The chances of it happening were pretty slim, but my father being a publisher definitely helps in a way. I wonder if his company published the book Carrie gave me. I never actually checked. I make my way to my room, planning to give Carrie a call once inside. We really need to make arrangements for our trip. Nothing's changed. Still in the same messy state it always has been, and I'm in my bedroom once again, and surely I'll be on the phone with Carrie for the second time this week. Just like everything else, my phone is where I left it. I pick it up and find Carrie in my contacts list and proceed with the call. The phone rings as I idly wait for her to pick up.
Hello?
Carrie answers the phone, as I expected her to. It would be weird if someone else did. I need to get straight to the point. We didn't come to an agreement as to when and where we were going to meet for our trip. All I know is that we're going to the library. Hey Carrie, how are you? I start with conversing with her. Speaking to her is something I enjoy doing, so when given a chance to embrace the opportunity, I'll certainly take it.
I'm good. What about you?
I'm good too. Especially since I get to speak to her. About our trip, we never made any plans, did we?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. I'm sorry.
That's okay, really. Any particular day you were planning on going? I realized that I could have asked her tomorrow. Maybe just want to hear her voice for one more time today. It's a beautiful melody.
What about Saturday? Is that fine with you?
Yeah, Saturday is good. What time should we meet?
Could you meet me where we met on the way to school at 10 a.m.?
Certainly. That's settled then. Carrie and I will meet this Saturday. Our Saturdays are entirely free. We follow the British curriculum after all. Which is good, since we get to do things like this.
I'll lead you there. You just moved here, didn't you?
I did. Thanks, Carrie. I appreciate it. I would have followed her anyway. It was her idea to go. Plus, it's Carrie. Why wouldn't I? Some muffled calls of Carrie's name are audible in the background as Carrie remains in silence. She must still be a bit flustered after I thanked her.
Sorry, I need to go to dinner. I don't think I'll be able to call you back.
I hear her whimper through the end of the line. I guess she's as upset as I am having to end this call early and abruptly. Don't worry, Carrie. We'll be meeting on the way to school tomorrow, yes?
That's right. I'll see you then.
Bye, Carrie.
Bye.
The line goes silent as Carrie hangs up. With that done, I guess I'll have to find something to do. Far, dinner's ready. There we go. I need to go to dinner too. With my parents at the dinner table, it seems as if my sister hasn't made her way down yet. That girl sure is busy. Does she have any respect? It's dinner time. A wonderful family bonding session. Leave her alone. She's busy with schoolwork. Don't you want her to do well in her studies? I do, yes. You're right, darling. The pair chow down on their sausages and mashed potatoes. I guess my mother cooked some traditional English food today. Fire, I heard you were having a good time on the phone. Who were you speaking to? It was probably that girl I was talking about earlier. Ain't that right, son? You were eavesdropping on me? I just heard a few things, that's all. Well, whatever you were saying, I'm glad you managed to make it to dinner this time. Guess it's a wonderful family bonding session. That's right, boy. I'm glad you finally learned it, like someone in this household. She's doing schoolwork. Oh, yeah, I forgot. How this guy manages to run a company, I'll never know. I continue to eat my food as my parents start discussing topics which aren't of any interest to me. My sister eventually makes her way downstairs and sits beside me at the table. Bangers and mash? Again? What's wrong with traditional English food? Didn't travel there just for women, you know? My mother laughs at my father's statement. Why can't we have curry? We have curry as often as we have this. I finish up the last of my meal and stand up in order to put my plate in the sink. That done, I guess I have the rest of the day to do whatever I like. After I finish my homework anyway. I head towards the stairs again to retreat back up to my room. Before I make it, my sister calls out to me. Father, can you help me with some questions later? I don't really want to. Sure thing.
Carrie is fine. Would you be interested in reading? When we first met, I was nervous. It wasn't even